10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
SEGA fans out there in internet land, we are live once again with SEGA Live. Hello, I'm Lee Craft, aka the Monday Morning Racer. Up top is Mr. Duchesne Bland. He assists in the media work for the Southeast Gassers Association, swinging the camera. And down below, the voice of the Southeast Gassers Association, Mr. David Lancaster. He is the man on the mic from the Tower of Power, giving you the voice summary of what's happening over a SEGA event. Speaking of SEGA events, well, this was originally supposed to be a recap show, but we're still having it as a preview show, and we're going to dive in a little later on with our guest, Scott Clants, concerning one of our great partners, truly one of our great partners, and that is Mahle Motorsports. Many of the competitors out there are using Mahle, and they have so much more for you out there, even beyond the Southeast Gassers Association.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to have him on, and I didn't realize some of the things that they did as a company, but it's going to be interesting to hear of all the motorsports they're involved in, and really kind of promote themselves and maybe get other people involved in buying their product.
Yeah, I think in the 22 season, maybe the 21 season, Tim Hall was very instrumental in bringing on Mahle Motorsports, because that's a piston that he used, and they gave him some sponsorship money, and it's just grown and grown as we have. And Mahle continues to lead the way in piston dynamic technology.
Well, it is so great that the Southeast Gassers Association, with what Quayne Stott established and what Leslie Horn and the entire group is moving forward, we have had so many great brands to partner with SEGA. They have remained a partner, and we continue to add to that partner lineup. I think of names such as Summit Racing Equipment. I mean, synonymous with ordering online and opening a catalog and getting on the phone and getting your parts for your racing operation. Who hasn't, if you're in the car culture world, ordered from Summit Racing Equipment? I think of Ram clutches. I think of, as you guys are wearing the ball caps, G-Force Racing transmissions, with their spectacular product that certainly is showcased so well in Southeast Gassers Association drag racing, but even into the drifting world and into the world of NASCAR and beyond. So Mahle is right up there with them. It's great to have them as partners of the fine product that they have, and they are trusted beyond the Southeast Gassers Association. But I am also glad that the Southeast Gassers Association tests these parts, pieces, components to another extreme in the motorsports world, with some of these small blocks winding up to 10,000 RPMs and the clutch being dumped. I mean, these guys, as showcased at Holiday Raceway for the Bama Brawl, these are not just show cars on the track parading. No, they are racing.
Yeah, they putting some pressure on those parts, that's for sure. And it's really a great way to show the quality of those parts with these cars that we get to see each and every weekend, at the racetrack.
And speaking of that quality, the engineering that goes along with adding to that quality that they put in that drivetrain and in that small block or big block, as whatever you may run. I mean, we've seen it 1,000 times, and our fans say it can only be experienced, and it only can Our video work, Dugenet, has been outstanding. Part of what has grown this, Chris, with Frankenstein's Garage, those things help our viewers that can't get to the races. But if you're within a 6 to 8, 10-hour range, getting out to one of these races is going to get that blood pumping in it. And we're seeing people say, hey, man, this is taking me back to where I used to be in drag racing.
That it is truly a nostalgia revival, and it takes you back as close as you can get to reliving, reenacting the 1960s and the gasser when it was on top in the drag racing world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break, and right after the break, we're going to have Scott Clants on from Mahle Motorsports and chat with him about, well, something that you don't see very often, because if you do see it at the racetrack, something terribly bad went wrong for that race team and that driver. But internal components, that is the piston. And, well, in the, piston-driven internal combustion world, I mean, they're slightly important to the whole operation. So looking forward to talking with Scott. And we also want to say thanks again to Harbin's Mechanical Services. They are the title sponsor for the Rumble in Ringgold that we have coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend at Brainerd Motorsports Park. Postponed, rescheduled, but we're going to get it in. The Rumble in Ringgold, presented by Harbin's Mechanical Services. These words, and we're back on SEGA Live. Harbin's Mechanical serves Atlanta, Georgia, and its metro area. From the big jobs downtown to the jobs in your hometown of the suburbs, they are your number one source for your HVAC and refrigeration needs in Atlanta and its metro area. Stay cool in Hotlanta with Harbin's Mechanical Services.
Looking for a forged piston kit for your vehicle? We've got the solution. Mahle Motorsport Power Pack. It starts here with certified 2618 or 4032 aluminum alloy, cut into slugs and forged under extreme pressure to shape the very core of every high-performance piston we make. Using proprietary purpose-built Mahle equipment, each forged aluminum alloy piston is meticulously refined as our highly skilled operators machine ultra-flat ring lands, perfect pin bores, and precise crowns. To minimize piston skirt and cylinder bore friction, a graphite-impregnated skirt coating is applied, followed by a dry phosphate lubricant that protects it against pin galling and micro welding. Finally, our inspection team quality checks each piston to make sure it meets our high standards. Each Power Pack kit comes complete with performance file-fit rings, high-strength steel pins, and clips, all designed to work together. Our engineering team has taken out all the guesswork, so all you have to do is build something great. Get more out of your engine with Mahle Motorsport Power Pack.
Well, we got a power pack of an individual on the show with us right here, Scott Clants from Mahle Motorsports. Scott, welcome to SEGA Live. Been wanting to have this chat for a while, and it was a month ago, and it was like you were out on vacation. I'm like, dang, what to do it again? But we finally got you on. It's good to have you, man. Yeah,
I'm excited to be here, be with you guys. Love being with SEGA, all the incredible cars you guys have. What an awesome show you put on every time you guys get the track. So excited to be here.
Scott, one of the things I've been seeing over the years of being in that tower, and especially at Knoxville, y'all put together a great display at Knoxville, is the one-on-one talks that you can have with these people like yourself from Mahle Motorsports. Not just, hey, go to Mahle Motorsports and grab a box full of pistons. I mean, you guys are listening and on the front line, helping these guys get as much as they can out of their pistons.
Correct. And I mean, as many as these pistons or engines have the same, Chevy 350 or whatever it may be, every build is unique. And so to say, hey, just go grab these parts off the shelf, that may not be so simple as that working for that particular kit. So, if there's questions or you're unsure, one of the best things you do is actually reach out to us. We've got an 800 number. You can call in, talk to one of our tech guys. We can talk you through your build, find out what parts you're going to use, how much compression ratio you're looking for, and try to maximize. I mean, we're racing, so we want to maximize what you can do with your engine.
What makes your pistons special?
Ooh, here we go right off the bat. We've got a lot of engineering development into our pistons. It's where Mahle was actually one of the first piston manufacturers in the world. They developed the first aluminum piston. And so we've got 100 years of engineering background with OEM manufacturers. So we've got that technology. We've worked with them. We've got a lot of designs that we help them build that helps maximize their pistons for their particular engines. And then along with that, we've got all that knowledge built into the racing side of things. So with our long history of knowing where these pistons are going, how they're being used, how they're being utilized, and then adding into newer technology with smaller, thinner ring packs, skirt coatings that we have, trying to minimize the amount of weight they are, because we know that lower rotating mass, lighter weight products, you don't want to go too light, but lighter weight products actually help with building horsepower. So trying to maximize that with all our engineering that we have developed over the years. We feel like we're putting together a superior product.
Well, certainly leading the way in so many ways with Mahle Motorsports. Obviously, this is the Southeast Gases Association. We know many competitors are running your products. What is the range for Mahle, though, from the mundane production element of Mahle, North America, and beyond to the most extreme in motorsports?
Yeah, so we get this in a wide variety. The thing about Mahle is that it is a large company. And so I'd say a number of the calls that we actually have come into our office are about stock replacements. And our company does do that. But as far as the motorsport side of things, we only focus on forged pistons and rings. We don't dive into the stock replacement category. So we go anywhere, as the corporation itself goes anywhere from gaskets, bearings, and all that stuff, which is a different division. We are all the way up through the highest levels of racing you can see. And some of them I can't even talk about. Some of them I'm not allowed to talk about because they're so secretive as far as the partners that we work with, simply because they want to make sure that their information stays internal to them. That's one of the trickiest parts of my job, because I'm the marketing guy, and some things I can't even talk about.
I get that. I go in, walk into the shop at McKinney Corp, and I see something cool on the CNC or the chassis jig or whatever, and it's like, no, can't show this one. I'm like, dang, come on, I really want to show this part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that happens more often than I want to whenever I head over to our manufacturing plant in Morristown, Tennessee, because our sales and engineering and marketing is based out of Fletcher, North Carolina, just outside of Asheville. But Morristown, Tennessee is where we make all our pistons. And so I go back there and I see something really cool, and like, nope, can't take any photos, no video, can't use that. And so I have to figure out a different way to make it happen.
Well, Scott, I've talked to a lot of guys in the machine world and in the racing world, specifically a few NASCAR guys. How are you guys sourcing your raw product? Because, there's been a lot of stuff from China. They call it dirty, What is Mahle Motorsports' secret there to getting a quality product to start with?
Yeah, so a lot of our forgings come out of California. As far as the majority of our pistons go, we do have some that come from Germany. That's based on a particular alloy that we use. But for the most part, everything's coming from inside the U.S. So that's where ours are coming from. And when you're trying to control that supply chain and make sure that you're getting the highest quality piece, you want to know where everything's coming from. And so that's why we make sure that we are tying in with those.
Very good. Made in America, all sourced right here, except for a little bit of Germany. So that also screams Southeast Gassers, Americana and everything. So that's great that you're able to control that product.
Yeah. We feel very strongly about that. We want to make sure that we have as much, like I said, control of that supply chain to ensure that when somebody puts our product in their vehicle, it's supposed to perform as it should and not have any surprises about it simply because it might have been made in an inferior production process.
How meticulous is that process? You want to have the right amount of purity. You don't want have any issues when they go out to a customer. How meticulous is that? I know I worked in a machine shop as a quality assurance inspector. What is that process like when we're looking to make sure that who we say we are is what goes out to the customer?
Right. Yeah. And when those forgings come into the plant, they are inspected in the beginning, make sure that everything's the right size, right alloy, right everything. And then they go through the machining process. And if anything goes wrong during the machining process, then that particular one is automatically pulled. They check that batch and try to trace it back to see where it came from, if there are any other ones that came in that particular batch, to ensure that again, that supply chain is proper. And so once the pistons go through all their final machining and are inspected again, and then they go through our finishing process, they're inspected one more time, and then before any of packaging goes. So it's crucial, and everything has a batch number. Like I said, it's etched on the piston itself. It's crucial that those things all align, everybody's on board, to make sure that we're, again, delivering the best product we possibly can for each individual racer that's out there.
I'm going to go with a range question once again, and again, allowing on what you can share. Smallest piston to largest piston.
Yeah, so we have some top alcohol Hemi pistons that we produce. If I had one here in my office, I'd show you versus one of our smallest ones. And honestly, I can't remember the bore size on that one, but it's you can think of it as long as around like a big block Chevy size as far as dimensions go. And then it's much taller because it has to be able to take the abuse. When you get to those kinds of pistons, it's more about survival within the bore with that much power versus something that's you're thinking about like your street strip rod that's going to make some passes down the track, but then you're going to drive it home. And then the smallest size, it's probably somewhere around 78, 79 millimeters that we produce on a regular basis. So you're talking like a small bore 1.8 liter or something, another like a Honda B18 engine, B16, something along those lines.
All right. Wide range, definitely packing a lot of power and leading in the industry. I always like hearing that, there's some things we can't talk about, because when that is the case, that they are doing a heck of a job and they've got a great product, because people don't want it out. They want to keep it and they want to have that performance edge. With the Southeast Gassers Association, again, as mentioning at the start of the show, Mahle and SEGA, great partnership for a long time. What is it about SEGA drag racing, nostalgia drag racing of this style, that makes it worthwhile for a company in the modern day and age producing modern day parts and pieces for modern racing and beyond to have its brand associated with nostalgia drag racing that's done so well as with SEGA?
Yeah, that's a great question. But I mean, let's think about it. It doesn't get much cooler than gassers. I mean, these machines are amazing to see go down the track, and everybody wants that piece of nostalgia. You look at these old school hot rods with their glass tinted red or green or something like that, and it's just that absolute awesome rip of a big block Chevy or a small block, one of these WA blocks or something unique that you don't see every day. It's everybody wants to feel that time period and what it was like and how it was done during those early days of drag racing. And if you've never been out to a show, speaking for these people that may be watching and wondering what this is about, it's an unbelievable experience. You just need to go for yourself and see what it's like to have this. And so for us to be tied in with that, it speaks to the roots of racing. It speaks to the roots of where a company like we would like to be known as, and being able to partner with some of these racers and work with them to maximize their engines. So I don't think you can get a whole lot better than a SEGA drag race weekend.
And as you said, you guys have been in business for over 100 years. I got to think that you're in some of the first gassers that was ever produced.
Likely so. Yeah, likely so. The motorsport side of things, we were established in 2000, but I imagine there were a lot of pistons that came off from Mahle, the original Mahle side of things, that worked their way through the gassers market. And there's no telling how many motors were put back together with our rings, our pistons, and sent out the track many times with these gassers.
So I wonder, how do you describe something or sell someone on something that you can't release? How does that work?
Yeah, that's one of the toughest things. I will say this. When I was at one of the Knoxville Gassers event, that was the second time I've been to one of the Gassers races. I had a lady come up to me and she said, "My husband talks about your stuff all the time, but I have no idea what it is. What is a piston?" And so I sat there and walked her through it and stuff like that and explained it as best I could. And it's sort of one of those things, like, how do you market something that you don't ever get to see once it goes in the engine? But we do it by how our performance is. So one of the top series that's out there that I cannot name, but those vehicles are performing phenomenally, and those other racers, other teams, other owners know where those pistons are coming from, because other teams talk, racers talk. They know through the grapevine who's running what. They may not know exactly what it looks like or exactly all the specifics between them, but the word gets around.
Yes, racers probably the worst gossipers, honestly. I mean, worse than a church, I tell you. And yeah. I know about that. I can tell you that. So they will talk. They will find out, but
they won't tell you about you. Yeah, they won't tell you their secrets, but they'll tell you who maybe they're getting their stuff from, and then they'll try to strong arm us into doing a piston like those other guys. That they're running in that particular motor,
right?
But yeah,
right. Yeah, Murph has told me those stories of getting calls from like Kenny Bernstein and like, "Hey, can you build me a chassis just like you built for Perdome and Dixon?" And Murph's like, I can't do it exactly like what I built for them. So yeah, those things do in fact happen. And well, speaking of competitors, I know of at least one. There are many others, but one that really waves the banner within the Southeast Gassers Association for Mahle Motorsports, and that is Tim Hall in the Scalded Dog. And it is a beautiful race car, great platform to have Mahle Motorsports on, but he's also got a great story in the way that he does what he does. So much of it on his own, and yet he's able to have the technical support and the backing of a great brand such as Mahle.
Yeah, we've worked with Tim for quite a while. He's a phenomenal guy, works so hard to make sure he does everything right. And, he's brought us in like heads to scan for stuff he wants. And, the one thing about Southeast Gassers versus other racers is that, you guys aren't running power adders. This is straight, naturally aspirated engines, and trying to maximize horsepower for these motors and have them screaming at the RPMs that these things turn. It's a challenge. It really works our engineers to make sure that we're getting the most out of it. And man, Tim has been phenomenal at trying to make sure that we understand what he's looking for, and that we can build what he needs, and that that it's running through the process that needs to happen, so that we can give him the quality piston that his car deserves. And so he's definitely been great for us. Really helped us, get introduced to some other racers that were in your series to be able to start working with them on their engine packages. And again, Tim he's just a phenomenal guy, and we really have enjoyed our partnership with him.
It's pretty awesome to have, be a small racer, not necessarily the big monster teams, and be able to have the support of you guys. That is something that is not always found in a lot of manufacturers.
Yeah. Well, you throw in the fact that, number one, Tim is a phenomenal driver, and he builds a heck of an engine. And then the fact that he's such a super nice guy and willing to help anyone out. It's hard not to align with someone like that who, may not have the largest budget to be able to go out there, but the dude can drive and he can win. So it's really fun to see him go out there and I don't want to say take people to the woodshed in SEGA, but sometimes he does.
As well as he did in 22 and 23 with back-to-back championships. And you're exactly right. There's not a finer person in the pit area than Tim Hall. And he's going to rep your product really well. I think you guys have seen that, because when he's talking to other people, he's telling them probably about Mahle if they get on the piston and piston rings.
That's correct. He's been one of our biggest cheerleaders. And anytime Tim reaches out and needs something, we're more than willing to help him out, because he's done so much for us on the other side of things. We can't make every race as much as we'd like to. We're definitely there at our Mahle Nationals one. This time we're going to be in Greer, South Carolina instead of Knoxville, our usual spot. But Tim, whenever he's at a race, I typically see him in a Mahle t-shirt, and usually it shows up in more often than not in Victory Lane. So we're excited to continue to work with someone like that.
That's a good one to be associated with this year. The event at Greer, if I can steal a West Buckism, is going to be a barn burner for the Southeast Gassers Association and Greer Dragway. So that's certainly a good one to be associated with this year. We thank you for your association with the Southeast Gassers Association, from the technical support to the pistons, everything, sponsoring, partnering, and also these nice gems. Cool pieces here for the champions of the Southeast Gassers Association. These are pistons, and etched in an image and their claim as champion that they earned. Every one of our champions got one of these, and they are just stinking cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I can't take claim for the design or anything. That's actually coming from Steven, the marketing guy for Southeast Gassers. Also, he's at basically every single event selling t-shirts and whatnot, but he sent us some designs, and I was able to get those etched on top of pistons to be able to hand out at the banquet every year. So it's a really cool piece, and we hope we able to continue to do that for those champions, because they're very deserving of them.
Yeah, I think pieces like that to racers mean even more than like an actual gold cup or whatever. I mean, it's like a part of what you do and what you did to earn a champion status, and you've got this piston to recognize it or honor it, or I mean, I've got one John Force signed piston. I don't hang on to much, but it's John Force signed, and dang it, I'm hanging on to that piston. And I picked it up at John Force Racing at the shop one day. So yeah, I mean, those things, those elements are cool, and that is a neat piece. And yeah, you competitors out there, if you think you can come and get one, you need to get a Mahle piston by being a champion in SEGA.
I'd love to set somebody up with some new ones.
Scott, look, anything else before we let you go here from SEGA Live concerning Mahle Motorsports?
We do a number of things as far as pistons go. Like I said, for SEGA stuff, a lot of those items are custom pistons, but we do offer our Power Pack kits that are ready to go kits off the shelf for a number of different applications, from small block Chevy, small block Ford, Hemi, A lot of import applications as well. So if there's something you're looking at as far as racing, not just SEGA, but something else, we can definitely help you out. So just check out our website or reach out to us, and we'll work through your build and stuff. And then I want to thank you guys for having me on here today. It's been fantastic. Our relationship with SEGA, being able to work with Rocky, Leslie, Steven, all those guys, to really push up this nostalgia drag racing and give it the support that it truly deserves.
And I just want to make sure, it looks like the website I'm seeing us.mahle.com, and then you hit the motorsports tab and you will find what you're talking about.
That is correct. And we do have a secondary site, mahlemotorsport.com. If you want to simplify that search engine thing instead of doing the US section. But that'll take you to all our applications and be able to put you in contact with us.
Awesome.
Yeah, the dogs are barking, so I'm trying to cover that. And, you can probably hear him in the background. That means Dog Mom has probably returned. So, yeah, as said, on live, you never know what's going to take place. But it has been a good conversation with you. We're so glad that Mahle is partnered with the Southeast Gassers Association, and we know a Mahle win is just around the corner. Thanks, Scott, for your time.
Hey, thank you, fellas, and I hope you have a great rest of the show and a good next event.
Folks, Scott Clants with Mahle Motorsports here on SEGA Live. They are certainly a great partner. We have many other great partners. We're going to take a break, and after this word from some of those great partners, let's dive in a little bit more concerning Southeast Gassers Association drag racing.
Love the sound of a gasser banging through the gears as it makes a pass? Do you want that same feeling in your street car or truck? We've got the exhaust systems and parts that bring that iconic rumble straight from the golden age of drag racing. With a quick-time performance electronically controlled exhaust system, you can have race car loud with the flip of a switch or a push of a button. Give your ride that gasser sound it deserves.
Mahle Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Mahle Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Mahle insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Mahle even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Mahle Motorsports Insurance today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the postponed Rumble in Ringgold is getting closer and closer again, not this weekend, but the next weekend, June 12th and 13th. Hey, Stephen Smith with SoutheastGasserGear.com, he sent me an updated image with the races that we've got ahead of us. So ahead of us right now, we got the Rumble in Ringgold. Then we also have the Ram Clutches Nationals at Knoxville Dragway. Then the Rock Revival. Remember, folks, the Rock Revival, Rockingham Dragway. We're still looking for that title sponsor. And then the G-Force Nationals at Farmington Dragway. We're looking forward to all of these events. They are coming up here soon. We're going to have a good time at each and every one of them.
Yeah, some wonderful graphics as we always see out of Stephen Smith and the team there that he has put together. That's some exciting times coming up. I know Knoxville is a track that I love the track. I love the setting. Great group to work with up there. Looking forward to seeing them. Unfortunately, just to let everybody know, I will not be able to be at the rescheduled race at Ringgold because of work obligations. But I will be at Knoxville, so that one was important to me as well to get to. But and really not any changing around in my work schedule once it gets posted.
And that happens. That's a reality. When you have a postponement, it does interrupt many things. I know last year there was a situation that I remember Jaron Purdue, he was looking at not going to a race, but then a postponement made it where he could go to a race. So sometimes it works in your favor. Sometimes it doesn't work in your favor. I know that I'm looking for a photographer. Adam Dobbs is not going to be able to make it. He's committed to be at the NHRA National event there in Bristol, Tennessee with Competition Plus. So when things are postponed, it does interrupt matters for sure. But I will say this. If you were on the fence about being at the Rumble in Ringgold there at Brainerd Motorsports Park, just below Chattanooga, Tennessee, there in Ringgold, Georgia, on June 12th, 13th, well, don't be on the fence no more because you've got a little bit more time. Plan it. Make the trip. Maybe the original date, you weren't able to make it. You might be able to make it now. You need to get to that great track there in northern Georgia and experience the premier gasser drag racing in the world. That is Southeast Gassers Association drag racing. Look, I say it so often, make a trip out of it. What I mean by that, don't just go to the race. Like, look, get down to Chattanooga early. Chattanooga offers a lot for you to do. And enjoy Lookout Mountain. Enjoy Ruby Falls. Enjoy downtown. Saturday, go to the track and enjoy Southeast Gassers Association drag racing. Then have you a good, nice Sunday cruise back on to wherever you have got to go to get home. Make a trip of it. Come see us.
Yeah, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be really worth it. I want to thank Brainerd Motorsports Park and the group for working with, Leslie Horn and our group of people to make this thing happen. Definitely didn't want to miss this race. Definitely was disappointed with the way the weather worked out, but it was very, very cool to see everybody work so hard to try to make this thing, and get this thing rescheduled. And that's one thing about Southeast Gassers. We do the best that we can to make sure that we're not going to lose a race if we can. So it may work out to where we get more people, but I'm so excited to get there. There's so many new things that they have going on. The racing surface that they've put work into, along with other things. I'm really looking forward to getting there and seeing all the cool stuff and watching these cars tackle this really, really good surface that they've redone here at Brainerd Motorsports Park.
They're certainly putting the work in. I also like the work they're putting in on promotion, the social media side with Brainerd Motorsports Park. Remember, the team there, Amy, they asked you drivers, you competitors of the Southeast Gassers Association, do your own videos. Put it out there that you're going to be there for the Rumble in Ringgold on June 12th and 13th, presented by Harbin's Mechanical at Brainerd Motorsports Park. Put it on your personal page if you don't have an actual page. Fine, do it. Just get the content out there. Let folks know that you are going to be at Brainerd Motorsports Park for the Southeast Gassers Association. And certainly, on the SEGA side of matters, we'll keep pumping it as we've been doing. It just continues to grow and continues to move forward at this point since well beyond this time last year when coming on with the Southeast Gassers Association, the numbers doubled. When I came on board, it was about 140,000. We're at, 284,000, I think now. So well on track to 300,000 and plus. So thank you all for supporting. Thank you all for hitting like and hitting the share button. And people are really digging, there's an old retro word, the SEGA content that is going out there. So great work by Chris Barrett, Frank Stein's Garage, Adam Dobbs with the photography, and look, I'm glad we've got what we have right now. Dugenet down there, swinging one of my cameras, collecting content. Those are spectacular shots. Yeah, they might not be cinematic, but they are raw, and they're drag racing. They're showing you the action and the race. So we're getting it from the starting line to the finish line, and I think that matters.
It does.
And so much it does, especially the finish line photos. We've had races that are down to the thousandths of a second, but Brian Lowens from NHRA posted one in top fuel between, I think it was Langdon and Coletta, two team cars, and their margin of victory was like 2/10,000ths of a second in a top fuel race. So, I mean, that top end camera is so valuable and brings so many great shots. And Lee, I got to give you some props too. Doing the post editing and putting it out there for our people during the week that get everything live. And if you don't get things as they're posted, make sure you go on the Southeast Gasser web, the page here on Facebook or YouTube and get notified when the new videos drop, because they have been incredible lately.
Yeah, a lot of good work going in and continuing to move the Southeast Gassers Association forward. The great thing about social media, you keep plugging, you keep moving, you can grow and grow and grow. And right now, that what the team is putting out, the potential for the Southeast Gassers Association to be at 500,000 followers like this time next year, it's there.
It is.
And honestly, what a special place that would put SEGA, where you look at so many other motorsports bodies that are out there as a racing series, and honestly, many of them don't have that kind of reach. And
That's
yet
true.
the Southeast Gassers Association is getting that kind of reach. It is impressive. And it just goes to show you, yes, I've mentioned the team, but the team can only work with what is provided, and what is being provided is racing. Like simple, heads up, first to the finish line, drivers driving, mechanical beasts that want to buck them off, racing.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. And it's got all the pieces. It's understandable, it's relatable, it's Ford versus Chevy, it's nostalgia, it's all of it that we want in our society today right now. It's there. Like, look, the fact of the matter is, and I give credit to those that run throttle stops and can figure out how their car can not run to pick up the run and hit a number dead on. I hand it to them. It is impressive in its own way, but I'm not watching you.
That's right.
But I will watch someone dumping the clutch, it rearing up, and them not able to have any control of it because the front tires are in the air and it's toting them a long way and they got to gather it back up. You know, so many people, you know, they're like, what's wrong with that track at Holiday? Or what's wrong with these drivers? Or, you know what? They are driving and they are putting the work in. You know, racing shouldn't just be straight, true, and down Broadway each and every time. Sometimes the driver ought to work for it. And, well, our guys are working for it routinely. And they're putting on a show. If you haven't seen this show, you need to see this show. People have come from California to see the show. People have come from Hawaii to see the show. People have come from Sweden to Knoxville, Tennessee, in particular, Maynardsville. Where the heck is Maynardsville from Sweden? I don't know, but they came and they saw it and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Get out of the
Amen.
track.
Amen, preacher man. Amen.
Get out of the track.
You know what's so impressive about all of this is the fact that it's not ET and mile an hour centric.
It's not.
That's what's so impressive about all of this, and the fact that people are so involved and so enamored with what Southeast Gas Association is doing. It's not ET and mile an hour centric at all.
Right. We talk about it all the time. Look, most forms of drag racing, they are enamored with mile per hour and elapsed time, and you hear the setting of a record, whether it's mile per hour or elapsed time. And you may hear that from David, and you'll hear it, you'll be able to read it like in a recap, but it's not the focus. The focus is who won.
Right.
At the end of the day, who's holding that trophy?
Yeah. And that's what makes it special. Ashley, what's the question? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, sure. Put it in.
But to go back to that, holding that trophy at the end of the day, and Lee, you and I doing the winner circle interviews, they know that they've accomplished something, whether it's their 10th win, their first win. I mean, you can see that they are very glad to be handed that trophy.
Very simple. Travel.
Oh, yeah.
And for our competitors, it's easier on them. Now, In the future, could Kill Care be back on there? It's possible. New venues could also possibly be on there. But the fact of the matter is, it is a long haul for people who live in the Southeast. If you miss it that much, your closest event is going to be Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Take that trip I just talked about.
And Knoxville is a great place.
Great place.
Great place.
You can camp there on site if you're a camper. If not, they got plenty of great hotels just right outside the racetrack. And you're not going to find, I mean, there's great concessions because the line stays packed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's clean bathrooms. I mean, they had to even bring someone in to pump the septic system because we had so many people there, but they did it. They didn't say, well, just deal with it. I'll have to do it on Monday morning. They did it right then. They're people of action up there, and they do a great job.
It's a great place to watch a race there at Knoxville, Tennessee. I like to call it mini Bristol, and it does. It feels like that. And it is a place to experience a drag race. This is what you do. All right, Ohio fans. Again, the closest race to you right now is Knoxville, Tennessee. This is what you do. Take your vacation time and go enjoy Pigeon Forge. Did this recently with my wife and I and my father-in-law. Go to Pigeon Forge, stay there a couple of days, roll that in to go into the race at Knoxville, Tennessee. Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, Knoxville, they're not that far.
15 miles. 15
It's not that
miles.
far. It's not that far. So work it out that way. Also, schedules are not permanent matters. Yeah. They change, they ebb, they flow. You want that on notice? Look at the NHRA this past weekend, first time ever, the NHRA Mission Food Series at Maryland International Raceway.
They're doing
first time ever earlier this year. South Georgia Motorsports Park for the NHRA Mission Food Series. We were not back at South Georgia Motorsports Park, but we are going back to Greer for the first time in many, many years. We're going back to the first time ever with a points-earning event at Rockingham Dragway. We are going back to Farmington Dragway in Mocksville, North Carolina. So schedules ebb and flow.
Like I said, with our schedule, we're called Southeast Gassers for a reason. So I think the schedule that came out was really beneficial for our racers. And we're seeing that with the turnout of the car counts this year. A lot more cars have been able to come out and been able to compete this year because of it being limited to the Southeast. And what a fine time for that to happen, given all the circumstances that we're dealing with and high cost. So that really does help out a lot for our racers. So just make a vacation of it, and you won't regret going to Knoxville. That's for sure. That track is a spectacular group that run that thing, and man, there's been some great moments there at Knoxville.
Yes. I don't want to not take the time to mention, well, look, we've got several great races ahead of us. Obviously, Brainerd Motorsports Park with the Rumble In Ringgold presented by Harbin's Mechanical. We have the Ram Clutches Nationals there at Knoxville Dragway coming up. We have the Rock Revival at Rockingham Dragway coming up. We have the G-Force Nationals there at Farmington Dragway. We've got several great events coming up, but do not miss. If you're looking for a race to go to, you can go to one and get two, and that is at Gulfport, Mississippi, Gulfport Dragway. They even call the place the Racecation Destination.
Yeah.
You need to be there. And also, from everything I understand, it's all going to be under the lights this year. Okay, look, that's going to be a show, ladies and gentlemen. SEGA, all under the lights, cruising the coast, 30th year anniversary at the Racecation Destination. You can get a vacation in with a lot of horsepower that weekend. So just
it's gonna be electric.
Just put the time in and come on down to Mississippi.
Yeah, that's gonna be good, man. That thing's gonna be electric and it'll be under the lights. I remember last year just having, the first half that we had on, I think it was Friday, was half of it was under the lights, and man, we had some great racing that whole entire weekend, and to have both sessions under the lights, man, that's a can't miss. That's a can't miss, definitely.
I love to say the lights are on and the stars come out.
That's right.
And our stars came out. And this year, with both events being at night, records will fall. Records will fall. Some way, shape, form, or fashion. It may be Jerry Dean again, but records will fall.
You just got to come on. And look, I understand if you've got some issues, some complications, certainly understand that. And for those fans, sorry. You just cannot, in fact, please everybody. But if you've got people that can travel from Sweden to Knoxville, Tennessee, just come on to the racetrack.
Yes, sir.
That's simple.
And worst case scenario, if you can't catch the live feed, I mean, we'd love to have you there, but you can still see all the racing action through the live feed.
You can. I know it's not like being there, but it might be the fourth best thing.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, gentlemen, here on SEGA Live, I think we've just about covered a great chat with Scott Clants of Mahle Motorsports. Whether you need the custom pistons or their power pack, Mahle Motorsports is the way to go in the world of pistons. So many of our great competitors, they are pumping those pistons, and they are Mahle Motorsports pistons in the Southeast Gassers Association. We're so glad that the official 4-speed of SEGA is the best 4-speed out there, and that is G-Force Racing Transmissions. Racing and performance, street transmissions as well, from, as you know, the world of Southeast Gassers Association drag racing to even drifting and NASCAR, concerning such as ARCA, O'Reilly, and the Craftsman Truck Series. G-Force Racing Transmissions, they are the choice. And then Ram clutches. When you shift your G-Force transmission, you need to be smashing in that Ram clutch. Step up your stick shift game with single and multi-disc drag race systems, and not just for drag racing, but you have clutch kits, 5 levels to choose from for the strip and to the street. And don't forget about the billet steel and aluminum flywheels made in the United States of America. That's Ram clutches. Well, guys, thank you for your time. We'll sign off here on SEGA Live. Down below is Mr. David Lancaster. He is the voice of the Southeast Gassers Association. Over there, Mr. Dujanet Bland. He's my co-host in the Competition Plus Power Hour. He also hosts his own show, The Not Bland Show. Follow him on YouTube. And I am Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the share button. We'll see you at the Rumble In Ringgold, presented by Harbin's Mechanical Services at Brainerd Motorsports Park, June 12th and 13th. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal.
ARP, the ultimate fasteners for whatever you build. To get the best performance, always follow ARP's installation instructions included with the product. For the latest torque specs, go to arpinstructions.com.